Hey all, this last weekend on April 9th, 2022, I participated in the Ouachita Trail 50, aka the OT 50, in Maumelle, Arkansas, which is near Little Rock. The race offers a 50K and a 50-mile distance. The thing that attracted me to the race is climbing up Pinnacle Mountain in the first few miles of the race. It's an awesome climb, and I wish I lived closer to be able to take advantage of it more often, as it's well worth a return trip. Unfortunately, that climb ripped my legs a new one, and by mile 18 or so caused major, like tears to the eye, hang on to a tree and try not to throw up, cramping in all the major muscle groups below my waist. Other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? It was fantastic. The course has a lot of technical sections, mud pits, pretty trees, and the view from the top of the mountain was fantastic. The aid stations and volunteers are without a doubt the best I've had in any ultra race. And as always, I love you guys and gals for being out there to take care of us. Without you, this sport would not be possible in the way it is now. Due to technical issues, a portion of my footage wasn't usable at all, but what follows is various views of the trail race, mostly on the outbound path as it's an out and back. But if you're considering the race, hopefully this helps you make up your mind. And I would encourage you to try to enter this race for next year or whenever and enjoy it. It's an awesome race.
Yo! Come on back! Yeah, this is more familiar. Remember that last year? Yeah. Cross-country runner, you're supposed to be sprinting up this hill, aren't you?
You too.
Isn't that the philosophy? Yeah, I'll go first out there, right? Here, if you're going up, you're going the right direction. Going up. Going up.
That's a good question. Can we just stop and go back?
Yeah. I know the way. I'll leave.
Elbow look cool.
Yeah. That's right. Is this a temporary tattoo on your calf?
Yes. Awesome.
Good morning. What's that number? 200.
Thank you. Forgot you were up here. Wow. Look how pretty it is. The rock get you? Just a little bit. Gotcha. Yeah.
Thank you.
You got the dead stare in our
Got a
eye.
little extra distance too, just for training sake, you know?
Yeah.
Extra distance.
Elevation training. Go up and down.
It's a lot harder than I remember. Did you come up this side when you came up to the top?
Good job.
Yeah. Now where do we go?
All right, John, you're at the top.
Oh my God.
There's no way around it. Are you going out that way or are you going through it?
No, that's just wetter over there.
Well, welcome to the place.
I don't think there's much option. Nothing like running the rest of this in wet feet, right? Hey, this is the Ouachita 50K. Aid station's really nice. Race start was decent. Course, well, very technical in spaces. Extremely technical in spaces. Very hilly, up and downy. I think there's 4,000 plus. Under 5, more than 4,000 feet of vertical. Let's see, taking 2 falls, hurt my back. Course is very trippy in sections, and the course markings are far enough apart, at least over there. At both times I was tripped. It's because I was trying to make sure I was on the right course. Been off track twice. It happens. One, my fault. One, there was no course markings in my opinion, because I was just following the people in front of me, who also ended up off track, obviously. Not too far. It was on the way down. Going up Pinnacle Mountain, awesome climb. It's just a rock scramble, right? Probably 45-degree angles. Maybe 60 some places. It's just hand over foot, climbing up. A lot of fun. Going down the other side, not so much fun. If you've ever gone up that kind of terrain, you know that going up way easier than going down. Good job, brother. Hills never really show well on video. I'm going up this thing. I had to walk because I'm tired. That Pinnacle Peak climb really took it out of me. But all the vertical I've been doing made it possible. I mean, I was able to climb up and down without stopping, without taking a break. I'm not saying I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have. At least this this is some of the more runnable section, obviously. It's very pretty. Very open. Oh. Very trippy. A lot of roots and rocks poking out in places. Covered with leaves and loam. Fallen twice. A lot of this stuff, I mean, obviously that's very seasonal. But you're going to run into a lot of mud, and about half of it you can go around it. The rest of it, go through it. But that's trail running for you. Anyway, just wanted to show you some of the more open, somewhat, I don't know, groomed trail marker. Hey, bye. So things aren't going great. I'm still having fun, if you want to call it that. But I've been cramping pretty badly for the last several miles. Like bad enough I have to stop at times and try to find some position to let them relax. So pace is slowed to a crawl. And the only reason I'm adding this segment is because it's important for all of us to pay attention to hydration, electrolytes, and then sometimes it's just muscle fatigue. There's nothing you can do about that. I mean, today, it could be any of the above. Because it was so cold, 35 degrees at race start. I know I didn't drink enough the first couple of hours. I didn't bring salt tablets, or electrolyte tablets, not salt tablets. That's a bad thing. And this is the most uneven terrain I've run on for this distance in a very long time. So it could just be a combination of all of them. Dehydration, electrolytes, and muscle fatigue. So the point of this is to, one, pay attention to your nutrition, especially hydration. And two, always have a backup option in terms of what you're going to settle for in a race. Because if something like this happens, you're not going to hit your time that you really want. You're not going to hit your backup time. And it can take a lot of effort to push through this kind of thing. And are you going to be happy with the fact that you just finished? Or, ouch. So, anyway, that's it. See you again later. So I just ran the Ouachita Trail 50. Things went badly for me, but I'll talk about the race itself. Aid station volunteers, wonderful people. All of them had just perfect service at every single one, which is unusual for me. At one of them, I told them I was cramping, and one of them, and then I took what they offered, pickle juice and some chips and stuff, and then left, and was, no lie, probably 300, 400 yards down the road, and one of them came running up to me and gave me an orange for the potassium. That was pretty significant to me in terms of thoughtfulness and, you know, the kind of volunteers I would love to see everywhere. The climb up Pinnacle Peak, or Pinnacle Mountain, whatever it is, was awesome. It was very much a rock crawl. I mean, you're crawling up this giant jumble of rocks that are somewhere between maybe 2 feet and 6 feet, you know, in rough outer dimensions. And probably a 45 to 60 degree slope, so pretty significant. It really works your leg muscles. So and it's, I want to say 1,100 feet of climb in that one section over a very short horizontal section. And if you haven't done vertical, then it's going to kill you. I've been doing vertical because I've been training for Finlayson 100K, and I regularly do 4,000 and 5,000 feet of vertical, and I think this is around 5,000 total. It wasn't even close. The trail is so technical in parts that it just totally destroyed my stabilizer muscles and my quads. I hit the turnaround point, and then maybe a mile, maybe 2 on the way back, I just started getting significant cramping, and like the kind of cramping that locks you up totally. It makes you grab a tree and then hope the pain doesn't make you throw up. That kind of cramping. I finished, but most of the back half was at a walk. Even walking would trigger the muscles to cramp up. And then there were several stair climbs and vertical climbs that were pretty steep, and those caused a lot of problems. And the point of all this is, again, like I mentioned earlier, hopefully I mentioned earlier, don't just assume your race is going to go well, right? I've been training for hundreds. I did not think this 50K would be that big a deal, and it was a massive deal. So anyway, just expect that sometimes things will not go right. Your fault, my fault, nobody's fault. And sometimes you have to try to decide, is it worth it to finish? For me, almost always. This is in low light, so it's going to be noisy. It looks brighter on the view screen than it does in reality. This is a gear list, I guess. I keep promising myself to do it, and I never get around to it. So while I'm sitting here staring at the fire, I thought I'd go over the gear that I use. Starting at my feet. For ultras, I always use Ultra Olympus. No, they don't have great ground feel, but as a heavier runner, and I'm at the far end of the bell curve for ultra runners, I need them to keep my feet safe. So that's more important than having ground feel for me. So Olympus, Ultra Olympuses. And socks wise, for ultras, I wear 2 pairs of socks. One of them toe socks from Injinji, and the other one is either Baliga or Injinji. Injinji actually has non-toe sock that they sell as a pair. But one of those over those toe socks, it helps a lot with, not getting blisters. I also use either Squirrel Nut Butter or Trail Toes. Trail Toes is far superior when it's cold, because Nut Butter just turns into a hard rock. It is not scoopable, spreadable, or anythingable. So this morning, because I had 2 things of nut butter and none of Trail Toes, I ended up having to boil water and heat my nut butter up so that I could apply it. So that was fun. Put that all over my feet. Helps with blisters again. While we're talking about nut butter, I also put it in the ring where my waistband hits, and of course my nether bits, both front and back. Chafing is real after about 50 to 75 miles, if you don't. Shorts, I wear the Ultra Trail Shorts 2.0, which they don't make anymore, which I'm really sad about. They are the best trail running shorts that I have found, and I've tried a lot. They don't chafe, they don't ride up, they're soft, they dry super fast. The pocket is pointless. It's if you want to put a key in it or one gel, but it's not like a cell phone pocket. And anyway, I love those shorts. I have 4 pair. I rotate them and I only run in them for races. For long training runs, I use Brooks Sherpas, which they're okay. They're okay. Nothing wrong with them. Shirt, I started with a Brooks quarter zip. I love those quarter zips for cooler temperatures. It was 35 degrees at race start, 35 Fahrenheit at race start, so roughly 1.5, maybe 2 Celsius. I'm using, and I have been using since 2019, the Solomon Advanced Skin 12L. The 2019 version for my needs is perfect. They're as perfect as you can get without me designing it specifically for myself. I like the organization. I have a pocket for everything, and everything goes in a pocket. On my head, I had a halo bandana head wrap thing. It's like the skull caps, except it ties in the back. And I love those things for sweaty runs. That rubber strip may seem like a gimmick. It has a rubber strip that goes across your forehead on the underside of the skull cap. But it works. It keeps the sweat out of your eyes phenomenally well, because after 2 or 3 years they fall off, and I've tried using them without it. Nope, sweat straight in the eye. Music, I use my phone, which is a Pixel 6 Pro, and Aftershok's Aeroplex. I hear the new Aftershok's is really good. I just can't justify spending $150, $180, whatever it is, when the ones I have work just fine. Did not use a light this time. When I do need a light, I use the Zebra H600 FW, something like that. It's a floody light. It's not a long light, it's a floody light. And it's just amazing, the amount of light it puts out, and the battery life is phenomenal. What else? I normally would wear Tafasi sunglasses, because they don't screw with my vision like Gooders do. Gooders end up curving the view, and it causes eye fatigue for me. The Tafosis don't curve it. No matter where I look, it's like looking through a flat plane of glass, even though they're not. Those are a gift from my running partner. So they have both practical and sentimental value. Let's see. I almost used my carbon poles, my Black Diamond carbon FLZ poles. I got them super cheap from England for some reason. They were like $50, $60 less than the ones shipped from US. It just, took 3 weeks to get here. I enjoy those poles. I also have some Lecky poles. The hand grips on the Leckys are too small for my giant hands. And as a result, they cause blisters and they just don't feel right. I like them, but I like the Black Diamonds a little better. In my vest, for nutrition, I had water and Pedialyte this time. I also typically would use eFuel drink mix as well, but this was only a 50K, so I only brought Pedialyte just because it's easy. And for food nutrition, I had some Cliff bars and some RX bars, and then I just grazed off the aid stations. which they had the usuals, no complaints there. It's that's about it for my gear.